Hi everybody, we're here today to open up the calves, and not just open up the calves, but understand how the hips can influence the calves. Let's start by standing up nice and tall, and notice how if you let the pelvis dump forward a little bit, there's a greater stretch at the back of the leg and even at the hamstrings, but we're focusing on the calves today. So there's like a little bit more of a stretch at the back of the legs. And then if we tuck the pelvis under, we don't get as much of a stretch happening there. When we're running, it's really important that we try to keep some sort of neutral as the pelvis moves forward and back while you're running. Many women, I've noticed, including myself, tend to dump forward a little bit more than others. So we're going to see about driving that pelvis under and how it can help you with opening up your calves. So let's come and turn to face the wall. We'll start by stepping the right foot forward and the left leg is back. So we're stretching out the left calf now. If you just stick the pelvis forward and back, you can feel different sensations in your calf. I want you to drive that pelvis forward and then just start to bend the right knee so you can get that stretch in the back of the leg. And so every time you go to open up your calf, I want you to be aware of what's happening you see the difference here? I want you to just be aware of what's happening in your pelvis. All right, next we're gonna shift from side to side. The right foot's gonna come to the right and then the left. Again, the pelvis may want to start to stick back, and that's just a completely different sensation, yeah? And then next, step that right foot forward. Make sure that the pelvis isn't dumping forward. Lift up that low core and just rotate the hips from side to side. Yeah, different sensation if the butt is sticking out, yeah? Take that pelvis. We don't want to tuck under all the way. We're not doing that either, but I just want you to find that nice in-between area. All right, let's do the other side. Right foot comes back, left foot comes forward, and we want to lift up that core, drive that knee forward and back, and just notice if one side feels tighter than the other. My right side feels tighter than my left side, so we're stretching out that right calf. Sometimes that calf might be so tight that we want to let that pelvis dump forward, but let's not do that. Let's keep that pelvis driving up, and then we'll step that left foot from side to side, just like that. Stepping that foot from side to side, keeping that pelvis lifting up and under so that core is nice and strong. And then finally, we step that left foot forward, check in with that pelvis again, and then we rotate that hip from side to side. That's it. And that's just one way of opening up the calf. All right, good. Some of you like to stretch your calves on the stairs. So I've got a couple of yoga blocks that I'm going to use to somehow simulate that a little bit. So I'm stepping up with both of my feet, taking my right foot back a little bit and lowering that calf down. Notice how the pelvis sometimes wants to stick out back behind you. I want you to drive that pelvis under, and then you can lower that heel down and up, just like that. Sometimes people like to stretch like this. You can lower that heel down, keep that pelvis coming under, and then shift your hips from side to side. So the side to side motion of your hips can also influence the stretch of your calf. And then coming back to center, you can rotate the hips from side to side, and you can get a different sensation that way. And we'll do it now on the left side. So putting the ball of my left foot on the yoga block. And instead of letting the pelvis dump forward, I'm going to drive that pelvis under. I'm not tucking, just kind of going right in between. That left heel comes down. Sometimes it feels good to just pulse down and up. I don't think we need to necessarily strengthen our calves. I think they're definitely getting really strong, but everybody's an individual. I usually don't like to recommend strengthening the calves. I feel like they're already getting strong. So that left heel is coming down. We take that pelvis and make sure that it's lined up, and then we can shift the hips from side to side and notice how it changes the sensation of that stretch in your calf. And then once again, you can do a little bit of rotation here. So the idea here is that the way that the pelvis is moving will influence the way that you can stretch your calf. And those are all of the different movements that your hip and your ankle does when you're running. So not only is this a great way to stretch your calf, but it's also a great way to warm up for your run. But I hope that you've learned a little bit more about the influence of your hips on your calves. And have a great week running. I will see you again soon.